Testing, 1, 2, 3. All right. Microphone's working. Let's get it hooked up here. I don't know how to turn the lights off, but all right, I'm back. Yeah, got through the holidays, Christmas, New Year's, all the fun stuff. Getting my garage back. I'm not going to show you that. But anyway, next project. The 1985, I think it's an 85. The first two numbers and serial number on the bottom are 85. Matches up with the color scheme. Redline 600C. I was going to do this as a restoration of sorts. I've been kicking this around. I've got a brand new sticker pack, new headset, new bottom bracket, some other new parts, but I hadn't decided on whether or not I was going to refinish the frame, like strip it down, new paint, chrome, all that kind of stuff. But what we've got going on is the Midwest old school BMX, show in Lafayette, Indiana at the end of February. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this as is, just add all the parts to it to make it rideable. So I'm going to make it rideable. The big question is, though, is my chainring bolts, if I'm going to be able to get these undone, because I've already tested with my wheels. I've got my my Dan's Comp built revolver, TNT revolver hubs, Araya 7X, or I don't know if they're 7X, but they're 48 hole double wall chrome plated wheels that I had built 25 years ago that I got back from my friend Justin that I talked about in a previous video, that I could not use on my RL20 Rad Tribute bike, but they do fit on this, so I'm going to use them on this. But the chain, I've already tested, the chain doesn't line up, because they've got the chain ring on the outside of the Spider, and it needs to be on the inside. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them chain ring bolts off without grinding them. But that's what we're going to find out here next. I'm going to clean up the workbench a little bit and then see if I can't get these chain ring bolts off. For the rest of the build, I got die-comp brake lever, just some plain old regular caliper brakes that I took off of an old department store Mongoose. Again, I'm not trying to do, an accurate restoration or anything. I just want this thing to be rideable, and it needs brakes. The pedals are not the original pedals that came with it. They were all busted up and broken. So these are also just some black platform pedals off of like a Walmart box store Mongoose. I do have here some cheap Comp 3 like tires. Duro is the brand. I don't remember which website I got these off of, but 20 by 1.75 gum wall tires for the right look. And like I said, my wheels. Oh, and some grips. Some plain old black high flange grips, again, off of a cheap, department store Mongoose. Just to get this thing going and riding again. So, and then chain and brake cable. So That should be everything I need. Let's go. All right. I'm just going to let this ride while I figure out this chain ring thing. And then I'll time lapse it if I need to. I don't know. Maybe you enjoy listening to me talk about this stuff. I do have some stories maybe I could tell later on. That's 6. Let's try 5. Ooh, that one came loose very easily. All right. Let's just little something to hold on to it. All right, one down. All right, the whole thing's turning. Well, crud. So, I'm going to hit that. Let's turn the thing upside down, see what I can do with it. All right, so I got one stuck. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of WD-40, let that soak in for a few minutes, and then see if I can't get something, maybe a vice grip to just bite on the back of this thing a little bit to hold it in place. So I'll have to, let's get the WD-40. All right, and then I'm gonna go find a vice grip while that soaks. All right, I'm back. So the WD-40 and the vice grip are working. I got the vice grip clamped on like this, and I got my Allen key on the other side spinning. So there you go, it's coming off. Crisis averted. So I had bought new chainring bolts, but somewhere in the last month of disorganization in my garage, I have misplaced them, which is odd because I had it all together with all the other parts in that little box back there. So I don't know what happened. All right. So let me grab the Loctite for when I put these back on. Red, blue. You don't want the red Loctite. The red Loctite is meant to not come off unless you apply heat. Doesn't mean it won't, but it's a lot tougher. So I got some blue, and I need to dry that one off before I apply the Loctite. This thing's got a lot of rust on it. So again, I don't know if I'm gonna do. I mean, after the show, I probably will do a complete. What I'll do is I'll throw it in a bath and see how well the rust comes off and the chrome cleans up. If that is fairly successful, then I may go ahead and get new paint or powder coat on it, and then put the new stickers on. And then it'll be not like a full restoration, because I'm going to make it how I want it. I'm not trying to be year accurate for that model, because the one I had a 500B, but it was constantly being modified and upgraded. So we'll see what happens. All right, now turn this around. And we want the Anlin on the outside again. We want this to be on the inside as such. Right there. All right, there we go. Chain ring. Next. All right. So, next steps, I'm going to, I got to finish putting together the axle on the rear wheel. Not that there's anything special to do here, but my collars, I need to tighten my collars, and then the little lock nuts on the collars. Get those tightened up and adjusted, and then stick the freewheel on it, and then I'll do tires and tubes. I'll put the wheels on the bike and the chain, and then I'll flip it over and do brakes and grips. And then we should be able to ride it. Cut the time lapse. I'm back. All right, here we go. Finished-ish. So it's all together. Let's take the camera down and I'll walk you through it. If I can do this without messing it up. All right, so I got, all right, start here at the front. The grips, the left grip was a little loose, trying to get it on. It's starting to firm up. Use the old WD-40 trick. As the WD-40 dries, the rubber sticks really well to the chrome. I don't know if it was really dirty and on the inside of that grip, and that's why it wasn't sticking. I had to clean it out. There's a Dicomp lever that I bought, Odyssey slick cable. If you're noticing, I didn't have a cable ferrule to put on the end of it or on the end of the cable itself in the housing. So maybe I'll rectify that later. I just used a couple of zip ties to hold it on. If you noticed, I did had to ever so slightly grind on that dropout a little bit for the 3/8 axle to fit in there. In the olden days, the 3/8 axle had a slot or like flat edges to fit in there, and then a special washer that made it fit in there. The tires, these cheap ass tires that I got, the front one wasn't too bad, but that rear one was a huge pain in the butt to get on. The handlebars appear to be slightly bent because I had to adjust the stem just a little bit off center, just ever so slightly, for the handlebars to look centered on the front wheel. The chain, luckily the chain I had in my stock of parts, and I got extra links, so, but the chain I had was just perfect for the wheel to be all the way up in the dropout and still fit. Maybe I'll add a link later so it doesn't have to be that way, but I really don't care. The brakes are the brakes. They're cheap ass brakes, like I said, off of a department store Mongoose. But I ain't trying to do anything fancy on this. You did see me swap out the seat post when I was trying to spin the handlebars around to work on the brake. It hit the seat, and I thought that might be the case, that I would want the laid back seat post, so I got a cheap one off of Amazon, stuck that on there. And there you go. Now that I've got it all together as a complete bike and I'm looking at it, what I'm thinking is maybe I see if I can remove some of the rust, but I think I'm going to keep the paint and all the blemishes on the paint, but I will take the stickers off and put new decals, new stickers on it. And I think that's how I'll probably leave it. But anyway, this is how I'm going to take it to the show if I go. I'm overall very pleased with it. It brings back a lot of memories from being a kid and having one almost just like this. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, let's go back up on the stand here. Bum, bum, bum. All right, so that's it for my Redline 1985 600C full chromoly Survivor. So frame, forks, cranks, chain wheel, spider, stem, handlebars, all original. I assume the headset and the bottom bracket probably are as well. Oh, and the seat post clamp, all original. This is an era seat. It came with the bike from the guy I bought it from. Uh, it's the same purple as in the graphics, but I don't think that the purple seat is what came on these things. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I've got 3 more projects already lined up. The next one is going to be my race bike, the one that I actually ride when I'm racing and jumping. I am going back old school. I'm going to ditch the aluminum frame and carbon forks and hang those on the wall, and I'm going back to chromoly frame and fork. And pretty soon here, I'll actually be riding, recovering from a couple injuries, not bike related, lifting and home improvement accident related. But I'm just about healed up from those, where I can start lifting weights again, strengthening up and riding. So it's the middle of winter. It's been fairly mild. I could be riding potentially, but generally you're not. So anyway, I'm rambling on. I'm going to end this. Thanks for watching. I'll see you I'll see you in the next one. All right.